logics, eCarrierChecks is the key. Innovating the process, can't you see? With the platform so smooth, keeps the workflow tight. Efficiency and value, that's every single night. Risk profiles, they got 'em, man, it's no joke. North America's the stage and they never choke. Metrics on point, updated without fail. Chameleon carriers, they're on the trail. Don't play with unsafe companies, don't be that guy. eCarrierChecks, keeping it safe under the sky. 40 plus filters with the search that can drive carrier information in the FMCSA archive. Find your carrier with precision and needs. Location, equipment feeds. They got the keys. FTL shipper leads. They're right there for you. Real-time authorities, what they do. Crazy, breezy, ultimates. The dashboards away. Freedom from low boards. They got it every day. eCarrierChecks, the architect leading the way.
DIY, what's up? Hey, welcome to the eCarrierCheck show. Excited to be on. Day after election, the entire country,
they're tired,
is exhausted. I heard something kind of funny, and it's YouTube, so we can say it here. But I thought I heard somebody say that I had an election that lasted longer than 4 hours. I loved that. I thought it was very comical. I was like, I got to give it up for that guy. Shout out to UT. What do you think, man? When you look at all the people that are that are on all the followings, having, we're not a political show by any means,
right,
but
yeah.
Interesting to just get this behind us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's no secret that everything's divided, right? No matter what it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was entertaining night last night.
You watched it, didn't you?
I watched it till I couldn't watch anymore.
Yeah.
So it was about 1 a.m. But yeah, it was entertaining.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
It was entertaining to really kind of wake up the next day and see everyone on LinkedIn and Facebook, Twitter, just kind of seeing their thoughts. Yeah.
I do think, obviously, I had somebody the other day just laid out some real black and white. Here was, things that will affect the trucking industry.
Yeah, that's what I was interested in.
And that's what I was more interested than anything was, okay, from their standpoint, what will help the supply chain, trucking, the different things like that. And I do think that Donald Trump had more things in his bucket than Kamala. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I got to say, I'm excited. I do think it'll help with what we do, man. Logistics, supply chain, trucking, it's everything. It's how this country makes it great.
Yeah, right? I'm kind of eager to just kind of see where it goes from. What is he? He goes into the office with January 20th or something like that. Yeah. So I'm really eager to see where it goes when he gets in the office and see where logistics goes. I just kind of hear like the phone calls. We get lots of phone calls every week, every day. So I'm really interested to see, what people say. We really got the mag.
Yeah, we got it. We got it cooking here. I would be interested though, for those drivers that are on the road, anyone watching, give us a shout out. How do you vote? Are you just doing a mail-in vote? I would just be curious. Do you schedule your trip around, like, so you can go down to the courthouse and still vote? Or what do you do? I would be interested to know that.
Yeah. I didn't think about that.
Just because I think it just did a live stream. Will Trump save trucking? That's so good. I gotta watch it. What are your thoughts, Adam? I mean, do you feel like this is it? Like, I mean, is he going to
change it?
Make it back? I feel like we should send you a link and just have you on. But it would be interesting. Will he do it? Will he save trucking? Or I think no matter what, people are just so drastically divided.
Yeah.
We need more purple.
Right.
You watch Gary Vaynerchuk. We need more purple. We need people to work together. Right. The red and the blue need to come together. And so hopefully from there, DIY's live to hear, remove the hype. Morning, gents. What's going on, guys? It's good to have you on. Remove the hype. That's fair. T. Lanny, good morning. It's good to see you, Les. Yes, Link would be supreme. Oh my gosh, he wants to get on. Can we send him? Just have him come on. Let's send him the link. Can we do that?
Oh,
I don't even know how that works. While we try to get Adam on here, give us a sec. I do think that, when it comes to trucking, we've got to encourage manufacturing. The whole Chinese tariff thing, look what they did. I don't know if you guys realize this, but when some of these tariffs were put into place when he was in election before, they just moved to Mexico. Why do you think Mexico has become our largest trading partners? All these Chinese companies just moved to Mexico. So are they still Chinese? Or are they like Mexican Chinese?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the proper wording is here.
Yeah.
Adam, give us a second. We'll send you a link. But I do think that, as we get into next year, obviously, hopefully, it just helps the middle class people.
Mm-hmm.
You and I are middle class. A majority of the people that are watching are middle class. Right. For the love of God, we don't need more taxes. Right. We're just trying to feed our kids.
We're just some hard work and sending the guns, taking it day by day.
This is the class that matters. You know what I mean? This
yeah.
is the class that matters. This is the class that actually does move America.
Right.
100%,
man. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. This time of year, it's crazy.
I love it. Here's Adam. Welcome to the show, brother. It is so good to have you on. What's up, man? Have you been glued to your TV all night?
Dude, I went on a road trip. Well, I had to go move some equipment, and I got home with 36 hours I had been up for. I'm like, I got to go to bed. And then I'm like, oh yeah, the election's on tonight. I got to stay up. I stayed up till 2 o'clock in the morning, half zombie. And then it wasn't over. So I had to at 3 o'clock, I'm checking my phone. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah. I'm all waiting for Pennsylvania to come in.
No, I wanted to talk about it with you guys because I think you're like-minded. I just did a live stream. Incidentally, I started the live stream, and about 20 minutes in, this has never happened to me before. First, my internet went hard crash, and then my computer went just completely wonky, which never has happened before.
Yeah.
I'm like, did I just get cyber attacked for talking about this? Legit, it's never happened before. And I couldn't get it back. I had to shut everything down and reset everything and reboot the computer and the modem and everything. I'm like, what the hell happened? So anyway, I think just from watching, one point I want to get across, or I want to talk about, is everybody's excited, right? The excitement is high on one side, and on the other side, it's, the world is over, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's just step back and first think about the things people said and what they promised, right? And let's realize most of that's never going to happen because that's politics, right? Are we going to have a 2,000% tariffs from Chinese cars? No, it's not going to happen. That's an exaggeration. And then say, well, what do I believe in my head is going to happen? And then say, okay, well, this is what I think is going to happen. Is this what they said, or am I making that up? Am I projecting my beliefs and my desires on somebody that never said that? Okay, so if you're a Trump supporter, Trump's going to fix everything. He's going to do this first day, and it's going to change everything. Well, did he say he was going to do that, or is that something that you want to happen and you're projecting it on the situation? That's so what people do. Does that make any sense? Mm-hmm. People projecting their desires into the situation that may have never been on the table in the first place. Mm-hmm. So let's not do that for once, okay? Yep. And then go out and try and convince everybody of it. And then let's just step back from all the hype and the nonsense and the political promises and just look at the policies of what are the policies going to make happen, right? Mm-hmm. If we had this person who was going to have this policy on interest rates, and this person over here has this policy's interest rates, what is the likely outcome of each policy, number one? And then number two, is it even possible or practical that can happen? Right?
Right.
So, or, war, immigration, inflation, interest rates, all of these. You got to look at the policy, energy, right? We haven't largely had an energy policy in this country for 4 years, other than just fossil fuels are bad. Let's shut them down.
Yeah, the green stuff. Yeah.
Right. Which was day one of 2021, 20 executive orders to stop oil exploration and development and shut down pipelines. That was pretty much our only energy policy for the last 4 years. We should be looking and saying, what kind of energy policy are we going to get? What are they going to do? Rather than orange man bad, orange man good, ugh, right? Or we just dodged a bullet. Well, what's really going to happen? You really have to take the hype and the conjecture and just put it all aside. Everything they tell you on TV you should care about and think about is most likely the last thing, right? Okay, so what are we going to do about interest rates? What are we going to do about inflation? I'm going to tell you the biggest thing I'm looking for in this, and it's not even Trump. Like, we know what Trump is. We had him for 4 years, right? We know what he, good or bad. You know what a Trump presidency looks like. Okay, love it or hate it, I really don't care. You know what I'm interested in, and this will probably never come true because most political promises don't. This would be the first time in our country's history, and it might be the most significant change in our government's history, if we really do get Elon Musk as a government efficiency. What were they going to call it?
Oh gosh.
Secretary of Government Efficiency or something
Yeah,
like that.
something like that. Yeah.
Think about the change. Like, look what he did at Twitter. You come in and he overpaid by like a 40 times multiple for that company just to get control of it. And then he came in and he wiped out X number percentage of the workforce because they just didn't need it.
Yeah, just everybody.
Did anything change with the company? They weren't. It was never worth that in the first place. I think he paid 40 times what it was worth, something like that. And he knew that.
Yeah.
Did anything really change with the company? Did they go out of business for losing 80% of their workforce?
No.
For trimming 90% of the management? Can you imagine if that was applied to the federal government? If the $150 toilet seats just went away at a multiple of thousands per day, and then you had somebody come in and take a real look and say, where are we wasting this money? Where did we spend $7 trillion this year? Can you imagine the kind of change that makes in the government, in the economy, and in your taxes, and in your everything? Like, you couldn't even wrap your mind around if that really happened.
No,
right?
That'd be incredible.
Yeah. So then you got to look at what that does to the value of the dollar, like what it does to the foreign and domestic relationships. And then you take, I think that's the big, like, if that actually happens, that's the biggest change in government in 100, 200 years. And then you look at somebody like a Kennedy. While I don't really want him looking at the environmental stuff, the health, the health stuff, like something that's really bothered me over the years, but you can't say it out. It's one of the things you can't say out loud, right? There's all these things you can't say out loud. Propaganda is real. I think we all realize that, right? And the media teaches us what we should care about largely. Like, would anybody to this day care about Ukraine if 4 years ago they hadn't told us that they're about to get invaded? And like, we wouldn't even know who the president of Ukraine was, right?
Right.
Well, for the last however much of my life, Russia's the boogeyman, right? Putin is an evil dictator that kills his own people, right? Well, hey, we do that too. You know, everybody does it. But interesting thing about Putin, and it's just, I'm not trying to love on Putin, but this has always puzzled me. He's a leader that banned GMO foods in his country, and he did it for the benefit of his own people, for health, because they know over in Russia how bad GMO foods are. So you take an evil dictator that murders his own people, yet he cares enough about him to ban GMO foods. What if our government cared enough about us to do that for us? So then you got to start thinking, am I being lied to about that whole situation? It brings up all these questions that this is things you can't say out loud, right? So we're going to have a whole bunch of these things happen if what people's promises actually come true and they do what they said they were going to do. It's going to be very, very interesting. You thought the last administration brought about some weird stuff and some firsts for this country. You know, strap in.
Yeah, that's a wild way of putting it. But honestly, like I saw somebody say, "Welcome to the next sequel." Hopefully, it's a good one.
Mhm.
And it was interesting. You know, that guy was talking a lot about energy and Trump's thoughts on energy, and obviously, Biden went down the road of the green and that environment. I think he's even putting offshore windmills up even as we speak, which was kind of interesting. So I'm sure some of that will go away. But hopefully between, the push for nuclear from all these AI companies and, coal, you'll see, a push in our end. Yeah, we pay so much for, I don't know about you, but my utility bill isn't going anywhere. You know what I mean?
So what, people say, what is Trump going to do for trucking? Well, you don't want him to do anything for trucking. You want him to create a friendly and business environment that all businesses can thrive in. Yeah. You want him to get money moving again, get businesses saying, I can afford to borrow money again because interest rates are down. They borrow money, create jobs, make more goods, and guess we haul that, right? That's how you fix trucking.
That's how we make money.
Let's look at this inflation thing, right? Because it's a tough way out of this inflation. It doesn't matter if it's Biden, Harris, or Trump, okay? How do you fix inflation? Well, their way to slow it down historically is to raise interest rates to slow the velocity of money. Less money chasing goods and services brings down cost, right? When you want to stimulate an economy, you cut interest rates to get the money moving again, right? Make it so businesses can borrow money and spend it. But there's another component to that was never addressed. That's why raising interest rates didn't work to slow inflation, and that's government spending. You have to cut the spending along with raising interest rates to get that inflation to slow or stop. They never did that. That's why you can't get a grip on it. So the next person, if they cut interest rates, you're going to make inflation go parabolic again. If you don't, or if you raise interest rates, you're going to stall out the economy even worse. So what do? Nobody except for this Musk thing was ever going to cut government spending. And if they do that, that's the only way they're going to fix this inflationary environment. There's not a good way out of this. It's going to be tough for whoever tries to do it. Mm-hmm. So that, from what I can see, is the only thing that's really going to work. And then separate from that, you have to say, okay, you cut this government spending. There's a lot of things in the world. They're the largest employer in the country, right? And what are the unintended consequences that come along with that? But I think if you do that, you stimulate the economy as such that all these people could go back to work in the private sector because you're going to create all these jobs. Every government job is a net loss. I don't care what it is, because taxpayers fund it. Or they devalue your money by printing more to fund it, right? So, and that's why it doesn't work to cut inflation if you don't cut government spending, because by continuing to spend like it's just not a thing, they devalue your dollar and your currency. It makes every dollar worth less, which it takes more dollars than to buy the same goods. So that's why it doesn't work. So if all these things come together, this could actually work to get inflation under control. And it all directly affects trucking, because everybody's, what's your prediction for 2025? What's going to happen with trucking now? Well, I don't want to see a boom. I don't want to see it take off. You know what I want? I want it to return to an environment that you can operate a business in.
Yeah.
And then you let competition be a thing again, and everybody can make it. It's just who's going to have what place in it. I want it to return to a friendly business environment. That's what I want. And then everything else will take care of itself. You don't want $7 a mile again. Guys, have you not seen what the bust is like? It sucks.
Yeah, it's brutal. The up and downs. The having just a steady incline would be very convenient. 2025 needs to just be, it just needs to kind of steady out. We don't need anything crazy.
Let's just return to a place where we know a friendly business environment, where you know what the rules are.
Yeah.
You know what the logical outcomes are. You're not afraid or have to just stay awake at night to think if you should invest money in it or not, or grow your business.
Yeah.
That if you grow your business, this is the logical outcome. That there's enough freight and business activity to where you can logically have some freight. It's just where service matters again. rather than just price. I don't know. That's what I see for 2025 is a much healthier business environment.
Yeah.
Due to policy.
Yeah, I honestly think, and I don't know how this would even work, but I am going to throw up a flag just for the sake of if you're talking about different areas of the government, it would be interesting to privatize USPS, sell it, move on. America's friggin' paying that quarterly $5 billion loss every friggin' quarter. It's wild, to me. And I don't know if they'll ever start at that particular part. I know some mail runners. I know mail carriers. We've talked to them. But my God, the way our government spends on USPS is nearly sickening to me.
It's done it to Amtrak for years also.
Yeah. Amtrak is, that's another story. But USPS, I feel like it's something where, there's a lot of empty buildings they've never sold that sit on their balance sheet. There's a lot going on. I could have an entire show on United States Postal Service.
I think that's where if you get that, government efficiency office, that's the one man you want running it.
Yeah.
And with him running it, politics goes out the window. Did you ever see a movie? What the hell was the name of it? It was Kelsey Grammer was in it. He was like a general, and then Carrie Elways was this guy who was supposed to test like explosive. It was a military. Forget the name of it. Well, they're in the development of this tank, this weapon system, and they were pouring billions and billions of dollars into it. And this is a good illustration of what you're just talking about. And everybody was against Carrie Elways because he was doing unorthodox things. And finally, he takes this tank and he loads it up with sheep, right? And then he goes and puts it out in the field and he blows it up with this other tanker weapon system, and all the sheep die. And then the soldiers are suddenly on his side thinking, this guy really does care about us because that could have been us in that tank, right? Well, then Kelsey Grammer comes marching in and they start talking about it, and Kelsey Grammer's like, well, wait a minute, you really screwed this up. Like, we need to know what kind of sheep, how many sheep should have been in that tank. How much do these sheep need to weigh? The typical government thing of just saying, oh, well, we're not putting soldiers in that tank to die. Well, maybe we didn't have the right sheep in that tank. Maybe these other kind of sheep could have withstood the explosion. And just going down this just ridiculous road is just a good example of all this, of how it works.
Are you talking about Pentagon Wars?
That might be it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll have to throw that on the list here. Yeah. I do too. We really appreciate you coming on today, Adam. It's so interesting as we continue to march to this January new term, new season of I'm with you. I just hope it's steady, Eddie. It's in an environment that's, maybe not even easier. Competition in running a business isn't easy, and good environments are bad. But boy, howdy, there's got to be just a nice steady flow as we go into 2025. That hopefully will make life a little bit easier for anyone that owns a business.
Yeah, and I don't take your whole show, but I'll leave you with one thing. There's people asking, should I go out and buy 10 trailers right now and get ready for this and that? And I'm like, well, here's what you do. So you got to take all the crap out of it and think about what is something that they could do that would directly affect your business, right? Don't go out and do it just thinking General Freight's going to get better and he's going to save the world, because that's not how it works, and it's not the right thing to do. But say, for instance, your trucking company is directly related to business. Say you're in flatbedding, right? If you think that, if you believe and you can lay out the logical path through facts that something is going to happen where the new administration will manage to get mortgage rates down or interest rates down, and people are going to start building again, and commercial building will take off, and maybe an infrastructure bill where we can start rebuilding the highways. Well, you're in flatbedding. You're going to be directly affected by that.
Yeah.
Maybe it is time for you to start positioning for that. But if you're a reefer hauler and housing is going to take off, construction, it doesn't really so much directly affect you, right? So maybe it's not. Find a way in the logical path to connect it directly to your business to see if it affects you before. Otherwise, I say kind of just at least standoffish a little bit and just wait and see. Let's see how this is going to go. Like, we got a big gap to fill between now and January.
Oh yeah.
And, like, a lot can happen.
Yeah.
And then you got to allow some time. Like, this isn't waving a magic wand. There's a lot of things here that have to be done and undone and changed. You gotta let the process work. And then you still got to realize it's one person, folks. You got a whole big system of government here, and one person's not gonna change everything. So don't buy the hype. Stop letting other people fill your head with crap, and start plotting your own path through this, through logic and reason, is what I encourage people to do.
Yeah,
I love that.
I do too.
Next time you need to change your background, I want you in the White House.
I was in my live this morning.
Are you really?
Oh,
yeah.
man.
In this one, I can't. Oh, wait. This one doesn't have my backgrounds in it, so I'll get them in there next time.
I love that.
I love it. Adam, thanks for popping on. We
Thanks for
really
having me.
appreciate it. It's always so good to talk to you.
Yeah, we love you, man.
We do. It's always nice to just get another perspective. So thank you for coming on, man.
All right, thanks for having me.
See you, bud.
See you later, man. Yeah, I love that guy. Everyone, make sure you go subscribe and.
It's just so good.
Channel. Yeah, he has some really interesting thoughts when it comes to this stuff, and to get his perspective, it really does kind of changes the way you kind of think about things too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like he brought a good point. What's this going to do for my business? From now till January, what should I be doing? How can I get prepared? Or should I go buy 10 trucks or whatever it may be? But I'm sure people are thinking about that.
Yeah, absolutely. The Feds tomorrow will probably cut interest rates another quarter, I'm assuming, right? That's on the table for this week.
Right.
And maybe make money a little bit cheaper, continue to try to make money cheaper. But Adam's right. Don't get, blown out in the hype. Don't get too excited. Make some smart business decisions that make sense for you, but you got to go find that business first. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Goodness gracious, man, that social media, that's really where all the hype's at. And if you're living on that, I know we're on it right now, but
control your control your own emotions.
Yeah.
I do remember I had a buddy that was actually hauling the wall to Mexico. He actually was a part of hauling loads down to, I can't remember where he was taking them to. I think he was a part of something in Arizona where he was going in. And that company was just over the moon. Like, here we go, it's changing our company. And I remember he talked to the owner, and it wasn't like, we're talking like Biden got elected and they just lost it.
Right.
And it was wild. It was probably one of the more interesting things. And he kind of was overhyped about that situation and should have just kind of kept playing it, by the day.
Right.
So,
man. Yeah, it'll be interesting, man.
Yeah.
It will be interesting.
Yeah, just hold on for the ride. Control what you can control. That's what I say. Control the controllables and just let happen what happens. And that's all you can do.
Right.
In that sense.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate everyone being here today. Our goal today was obviously shed some light on what is going on in the country.
Yeah.
But also to shed some light on, how can we help your business grow? How can you stay in the game? I still see a lot of people going out of business. People are leaving the industry.
Oh yeah.
I saw a couple of freight brokers on their LinkedIn account yesterday saying, I'm stepping out.
Yep.
One guy went to home inspection, so he's just completely out of the industry. Hate to see it, but I know people got to do what's best for them.
Yeah.
And their families.
Yeah.
And their mental health.
Oh, absolutely.
Goodness gracious, man. So
I think, if as you kind of come into the next 60 days and we go into 2025, obviously I think it's important that you do have your ships ready. You have your ponds, if you will, in the right area. Chief Freight Hauler, what's up, man? It's good to see you on. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. I don't know if you have taken the time to get your hazmat cert, but you got to get it done. For the love of God, get it done. What are you doing today? I will hold you accountable. We're calling. We're going to just get it. Gosh, dang it. Don't get me fired up. But the next 60 days, I think, are really important that you focus on one thing. And I think that's building new relationships. I really do. I think that you need to go out. Humans have the desire to progress forward, and adding people in your life, either for them or for you, is a real thing. I look back at my life, and I'm 42. I've got a lot to go. I'm excited about dealing in insurance now. I love that. Gary also here. Hey, what's up, man? How are you? Hopefully everything's okay. Good to see you. But there have been people that have come in and out of my life.
They do. That's a lot.
That I think they came into my life when I needed them to, right? And vice versa. I came into their life when they needed me to. And so I think the next 60 days, this is why I love eCarrierCheck. This is why I love what we do. Yesterday, those transactional people had a day. Debt was down. There were tons and tons of people just pissed off about things. And it's like, okay, what can I do today that would start to get me less dependent on a transactional lifestyle or a transactional relationship? And there's nothing wrong with them. That's why they're there. That's why they're so big. That's why but eCarrierCheck was built in the sense that you've got to go out and take ownership of the relationships you have.
I agree. Yeah, it's a good way to create some opportunities. You know what I mean? You got to pick up the phone. You got to send some emails. You got to do follow-ups. But the work you put in now, it's going to pay off later.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, I think about our trip to TIA a couple years ago. We were on that boat, and we ran into some amazing freight brokers.
Oh, wonderful.
If we didn't take the time to just greet them, say hi, we wouldn't have had a relationship.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about picking up the phone today, do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And just say hi.
Right.
And no different than cheap freight hauler here. I mean, they just can't. I mean, why can't they just write a $5 million policy with hazmat, no questions asked? Oh my gosh, you're too funny. It's no different than cheap freight hauler. He's, those questions aren't fun. You probably don't know some of the answers, and honestly, that's okay. If I was the cheap freight hauler, I would do one of two things. Okay, if he hasn't got across the finish line, I bet if he emailed us and said, "Hey, I need 10 trucking companies that are within 20 minutes of my house that I can just go walk over to and say, hey, I'm looking to do this. Can you help me?" People in this industry, this is what I love about this industry. We want to help people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody, not just us, but people want to help people. And I know people are busy, right? The first phone call may not be exactly what you need. They could have been in the moment. But man, I tell you what, he's got to pick up the phone. You got to keep 20-mile marching. You got to keep asking those questions, keep pushing that ball forward, because you know what? Instead of getting, 225 a mile next year, all miles average for next year, let's get you to 235. Let's get you to 245. Let's focus on those little things in building those relationships. And honestly, maybe if you went and talked to some carriers that had hazmat around you, maybe they could keep you busy, right? Maybe they could tell you some scars. Maybe they could give you an idea of what to do. So don't be afraid to keep reaching out. I would agree. I don't know why they have to ask so many questions for a $5 million policy and but go take those tests. I'm excited to see how this goes because I'm in your corner rooting for you. Right. So,
well, I had a fun show today, man. Really good insights, especially from DIY for me as well.
Adam's wonderful.
Most of them within 20 miles, I know, went to school. Oh, okay.
See, there you go. Go pick up the phone and have a chat or coffee. Coffee.
Let us know how we could help them.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything we can do. We want to see you win.
Right.
We'd love that opportunity.
Right. The reason for our show today, we talked about having no load board. You ran a business at one point for a couple of weeks without a load board.
That was rough.
And yesterday, some of our subscribers felt that.
Oh yeah.
A load board went down.
Yeah.
They relied on it. Guess what? They hopped on eCarrierCheck and they started sourcing carriers.
Yep.
Carriers were getting on eCarrierCheck, calling shippers.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about this platform. Let's see here.
Cody, what's up, brother? It's good to see you.
Cody.
I always like his post. If you guys don't follow this guy, you've been posting more and more. Big fan of this guy. Very value driven. I think he also has a podcast.
Yeah, I've been seeing you everywhere.
I have too, man. You go follow this cat. He's a really good dude.
Yeah. But anywho, great show today. Good insights.
Yep.
We got about 12 people on today. If you guys are interested to see how eCarrierCheck can really be a great tool to help your company, hit us up. Heck, we'll give you a 3-month trial.
Yeah, we don't care
to show you.
Yep.
Jared will hop on a sales call with you if you wanted. call some carriers, whatever it is, we're down to do it.
Yeah. And if you could, here's how you can help us.
Yep.
Give us a review. Go on Google, give us a review, say that you like the show, say that you like the software, whatever it may be. That's really how we grow, is through those things. And we're always here to help or brainstorm with you how to get there. Fun show today, Nate. We weren't expecting Adam. He's a good dude. I can't get enough of that guy.
Yeah. Tune in Friday. Maybe we show a little bit of the site Friday as well. So we give you guys another kind of just a peek at it. But you guys, thanks again for